Welcome to Light Warrior Radio, where our mission is to empower sensitive souls to harness their superpowers and shine their light, so together we can co-create heaven on earth. I'm your host, Dr. 𝗟𝗡𝗟𝗣𝗙, author of the #1 best-selling book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower, and founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗟𝗡 Healing Method. Thank you for joining me.
Hello and welcome to Light Warrior Radio. Dr. Karen here. Exciting day today because I have the Chief Technology Officer and the co-founder of Mayu Swirl. This is something that I use every day. And in fact, I know some of you have seen some videos of me in my light medicine community with this. I post videos. I have a video about water on my Healthy Habits, Healthy Life series playlist. And so almost every time I post, somebody goes, "Where did you get that?" Right? So I am so pleased and happy that Ze'ev Zohar is here with us today because it's been a while. So we try to get a hold of you, right? And we're so excited. So let me tell you a little bit about Ze'ev. So he's a multidisciplinary entrepreneur, inventor, industrial designer, and physicist with a track record of building innovative, mission-driven ventures. Prior to founding Mayu, Ze'ev has led multiple groundbreaking initiatives, including a mental health monitoring startup, a blockchain-based governance DAO, a consumer-facing virtual shopping platform, and the world's first on-demand taxi service app long before Uber. Ze'ev studied advanced physics and holds a Bachelor of Design in Industrial Design. He's widely recognized for his ability to fuse scientific rigor with human-centered design, building solutions that are both technically sophisticated and deeply intuitive. At Mayu, Ze'ev brings a visionary leadership and a rare blend of creativity, depth, I can't say that word, executional, executional, there we go, excellence, driving the company's mission to bring healthy, eco-friendly water to everyone, everywhere. So Ze'ev, thank you so much for joining us, and all the way from Jerusalem, I think, right?
Yes, thank you, Karen. I'm so happy to be here and
Yeah,
love the
this
work
is
that
so
you're doing.
cool. This is so cool. Okay, so obviously you're a super smart guy and a very good entrepreneur, I may say. uh, let's talk about water. I'm kind of like, I think I told you before we hit record, that I'm a water snob. So there are literally places on the planet where I will not ever be unless I have really good water. Like Florida, for example. I mean, there's many different great, it's a great place to visit, but I really don't like the water there. It tastes terrible. I think the one place where I went where I did not have to doctor the water up was Aruba. And
Wow.
supposedly they say they have the second best water. They desalinate the seawater, and I have to say that tastes pretty good. But I'm very, very picky about my water. So when I heard about Mayu Swirl, and I'm thinking this is so beautiful, maybe you can show, what it
Yeah.
looks like. Um, this beautiful swirling thing. I thought, oh, these people know that swirling is really important. The structured water is really important. Let me look into that, right? And then once I got mine, I can say I was like kind of mesmerized for a little bit. Like I was like, I could just watch this thing all day and be totally meditating. And everyone that comes to my house said, "This is beautiful. What is this?" And oftentimes there at least one person in the group just goes out and gets one because they love the look. So tell us about your story. How did you get interested in water, and why did you produce the Mayu?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a water snob at the beginning. Actually, I used to drink any type of water. I did love water all the time and been around it and in it as much as I can. But it's only when my first daughter was born, then I suddenly kind of have this question, which water should I bring her? The first time your first baby is gonna drink water, like, should I boil it? Should I filter it? You get all these new questions of a new parent. And for me, this simple question, which water is the best water I can give her, kind of was the rabbit hole that I went through, because first of all, it surprised me that I didn't knew. And like all these basic stuff of life that and you drink water every day, but you don't really think about it. And it's such a vital part of our life. And the second thing is, even researching it online, I didn't find one simple answer for that simple question, which is the best water to drink? And there was so many different answers, and so I kind of went deeper and deeper to understand what exactly is the best water to drink. So story short, the best water to drink are water that are clean, that are restructured, enriched with oxygen, and has all the essential minerals that we need. This is water that used to be in every natural spring in the world back in the days, but unfortunately today it's not the same situation. So in the village where we live, we had an asbestos pipeline coming to that village, bringing the water in. It's completely legal and kind of standard in Israel and in many places around the world. But again, people don't know what the pipelines of their water made of. And the water really interacts with anything that is it comes in contact with. So I was really alert at that time and kind of put the best filter that we can, and RO, reverse osmosis filter, that kind of take 98.5% of everything out of the water, including the asbestos. And then I felt safe, so I have good water to bring my children and family. But then when my daughter was 1 year old, she didn't want to drink that water. She's like, no, I want to drink only the tap water. And I was surprised. I tried to do some tricks, kind of showing that I'm pouring from the tap and giving her clean water. But she really knew the taste, and she did not want to drink the RO water. And that's where I kind of really did the bigger step or dive in to understand the importance of structuring the water and of adding minerals. And only when I did these two things, that was a sign. She want more, and not only she want more, also children from all around the neighborhood used to come to our house to drink this happy water, how they call it, or magic water, because they used to see the swirl, and all the children want to drink that. And after they wanted to drink that, their parents also used to come, like, following their children, and that's where we kind of understood that we have something interesting, and that's where the venture really started.
Wow. So that I love how young people, especially at that young age, intuitively know, right? What they desire, what they want. And often before we condition them out of what they know, they actually give us this incredible information. And I'm so grateful that you listened, that you were observant and you listened to her and go, huh, wow, I thought this was really good water, right? Reverse osmosis, like getting rid of all the chemicals. Like, why doesn't she like it? And then you discovered, hey, if I add the minerals, if I structure it, then she likes it. So it's like she was your taste tester.
Yeah, she's like a compass in a way.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because, I mean, I love experiments. Okay, so I don't take anything for granted, try not to, and just test it and see the results. So when we tested different types of minerals in order to add to the water, we did a lot of taste tests. And we had from small children to elderly, and kind of giving them different types of water with different types of minerals. And so you see that the older people, they kind of taste one, taste the other, taste the third, go back. And children, they're like, this is not good. This I want. This is not good. Like on the first time, they don't need to compare. They don't need to go back. They just really know. And I think we can learn a lot from like these ages, like the very, very young ages, where they are completely honest, completely true. They don't put these filters, and whatever they react is yeah. I think I learned a lot from my kids on that age.
Ooh. Yeah, that is great. Now, did you like make a home like invention of the swirl first and try it out? Like how did that whole, technology roll out?
Yeah. So again, during that time, I'm very kind of autodidact. So I started to learn about water, and the more I learned, the more I learned how much I don't know, and the more kind of deeper this spectrum got and about the different aspects of water, and we can talk about it a bit later. But during that research, kind of found out a very interesting scientist called Victor Schauberger. He was in the late 19th century, one of the first biomimicers, meaning looking at nature and trying to understand how to engineer through nature's law new product. And he talked a lot about the vortex and how important it is, the swirling motion of water, and how in every aspect in nature, when water flows, it never flows straight. It always flows in a swirl line. Even a droplet falling on a window, you won't see it fall straight. You will see it falling like that because inside the droplet, the water is vortexing. So, and that really caught me because it's so simple and it's so intuitive. Water, in nature, nothing is by chance. There's always a reason and a kind of impact of how nature acts. So if water is always moving in a spiral, and so there should be a reason or an impact for that. And that's where I really wanted to taste swirling water. So we built many different types of vortex machine. There are a lot of ways to do that. And I used to spend nights, like hours, and looking at different types of vortex, tasting the characteristics of each one, because you can have it very strong, very mild, long, short, and you have the helixes, because they're like the vortex that we're trying to create is a 3-helix vortex, like
a 3-helix vortex.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if you look at it, the movement inside the water is like when you make a dough. The water goes like inside itself all the time, inside so as when you make bread, that motion, or when you make clay, the structure that you're giving the water in doing that motion really, or each material, influence the characteristic of the end product in a way. So also in water, that's why it's very important to try to understand that exact motion, the exact vortex, because
yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is that you were researching, seemingly night and day, researching a lot of different ways to vortex water outside of literally having a stream outside your house, right? Like technologically, how do we do this? And there were many different types, and what you discovered was this triple vortex action that, if I'm saying it correctly, is most emulating nature. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. So it's not I discover, it's what I read from Victor Schauberger. He was the first one who to speak about it, and I tried to imitate that or create that in a repetitive way. And yeah, so it was back and forth between working on the lab and trying to imitate different types of vortex in different types of ways, and going to nature and kind of really tasting the water, let's say from the waterfall or down the stream, or because on every place on the stream, you also have different qualities, different amount of oxygen level, different pH even, and the different taste and feel of that water. So, because again, in Mayu, what we really want to do is kind of imitate or be inspired by nature and kind of bring the qualities of natural spring to home. Kind of instead of taking from nature, learning from nature and bringing that wisdom into our homes. And the more data points, the more different characteristics you have, the richer the result is. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Now, I mean, there are some in the US, some other products that I've seen previously where you can install right in your home pipe, if you will. that have like some sort of metal inside, and it vortexes the water for the whole house. But first of all, I mean, you can't see it, so it's not pretty. But second of all, with the Mayu, you're interacting with oxygen and oxygenating the water, and then there's something about pH as well. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you vortex water, that influence water in all its different levels. So you have the physical level, the chemical level, the biological level, and kind of the way we taste it and feel it. So the organoleptic level, it's called. So the oxygen and pH, it's in the chemical, okay, kind of.
Okay.
And what happens there is when you vortex water, water always have a like reaction with the air above it. But if the water is still, it's only the upper level that has that reaction where the air dissolved into the upper layer. And then this upper layer gets saturated. So water underneath it doesn't really interact with the air. It's kind of, you have like this sealing layer, like, and when you vortex, that upper layer always changes.
Right.
So air from the atmosphere and oxygen goes into the water, and volatile compounds or kind of volatile compounds come out of the water out. So it's really like as if the water is breathing. You have change of inside the water. And so this is kind of one aspect. So you have oxygen coming back into the water, new oxygen, refreshing. But also all the volatile compounds in the water goes out. So CO2 is one of them, goes out of the water. When CO2 leaves the water, the pH goes up again, okay? Because CO2...
Oh, right.
Okay, so in most tap water, we have CO2, a lot of CO2, or not a lot, but CO2 amount in it. And so when we vortex it, we evaporate the CO2 and the pH goes up. Other things that we have that are volatile in tap water is chlorine. The chlorine that is...
Chlorine, yeah. Not a fan of that.
Yeah. When you go to a swimming pool, you can smell that because it's a volatile compound. So when you vortex it, it helps increase the speed in which it evaporates out of the water.
Okay. And what about there's some other chemicals. I don't know if fluoride or does that volatilize at all, or is it mostly chlorine?
No. So you have chlorine and THM, so it's 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏. These are kind of volatile compounds that you can find in water. But to eliminate or to reduce most of the contamination, you really have to filter the water first.
Okay, like benzene and fluoride, and you have to filter it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you filter, so if you have water that you really feel confident in, then it's good. It's okay only to swirl them, because then you take the chlorine out, which is something that preserves the water until the point that you're drinking. But like a fruit, you want to clean it from all its pesticides, right? Before you eat it, you want to clean the water from the chlorine before you drink it. So it's very healthy that you have chlorine, because in all the countries that you don't have enough chlorine, then the water can make you ill, because you have microorganism growing inside that water, right? If you don't have chlorine kills all microorganism in the water. But again, you want to clean it before you drink it.
Yeah, not a big fan of chlorinated water. Now, I actually have well water, and it's very, very deep. It was a very expensive well, and it does have a little bit of silt in it. But I got to tell you, when I come back from traveling, it's like hallelujah. Like it just tastes so much better than, let's just say, city water, and especially city water that I did not swirl with the Mayu, right? That just tastes awful. It's like I can't even drink it. It's just so awful. It's kind of scary.
This is something that really struck me, because many people that I used to talk to them about water, they're saying like, I drink water all my life and I'm okay. But I think water has really changed over time. I mean, the water that we used to drink as children is completely different than the water that our children are now drinking or that we're drinking now. And most people are not aware how radical this change was because, first of all, the source of water has been contaminated with many, many new materials that weren't even invented when we were children.
Right.
Now they're all flushing to our water source. And second, the pipeline and the infrastructure has kind of dramatically changed. And everything the water is touching on the way, it reacts and dissolves inside itself. So even if it's small amounts, the fact that we're drinking for the same tap day in and day out, it accumulates in our body. That's why it's so important to make sure that the tap water that you're drinking day in and day out is something that you can trust. I think it's okay when you travel to have, it's even healthy to have some sort of amount of different things in the water, but not as a usual routine.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that one of the things, and you may or may not agree with this because I don't have proof of it, but they say that whatever the water has or wherever the water has been and whomever the water has been beside, that the water absorbs or can re-resonate their energy. So if someone dumps a bunch of, say, cardiac pills down the toilet and that water gets recycled and so-called cleaned by the municipal water facilities, that the homeopathic resonance of that drug is still in the water. And
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that when we swirl the water, again, you cannot make a claim necessarily, but my sense is that the frequency is changed because when you look at the pictures, we'll show them in a moment of unstructured water and structured water, basically the information has changed in the water, so that homeopathic resonance of all the poop, all the toxins, all the cardiac meds or whatever has been flushed down the toilet should not be there any longer. Maybe the physical part was filtered out, but the homeopathic part, the energy was still there until it swirled. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for what I think is happening.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very hard to explain, and there's many layers of it. But so if before we talked about the chemical kind of aspect, now you're talking about the physical aspect, which is the way the molecule are connected, the structure of it. So you can have the same type of material, but just a different structure, and you get a completely different characteristics of
And
that
taste.
material. So it's well known when you look at, let's say, carbon, which can be either carbon or diamond, depending
Yep.
on the way it's structured. And also on water, you can depend on the way it's structured, you have different types of qualities. Now, it's not a black and white, because water really interacts with everything it touches, and water has been here from the dawn of time. Through the dinosaurs, the sequoia trees, your neighbor, and then it comes to you, and we don't know exactly what type of memory and how much it has from each one, but I think what is for sure is you can add your own kind of final note to it, and when you swirl it, you kind of bring it back to its natural structure, because water flows on down the river, they always swirl and kind of, it's like when you shake a lot of beads inside of a tank, they all kind of organize themselves in a way. So also water has a way to organize itself because it's a very simple molecule that is polar. You have the negative and the positive, the two, and then they kind of connect to each other, but they can connect in many different ways. So one thing that determines the structure is first, if it's organized or not. So we call it coherent. It's like a magnet. And when all the molecules are organized in the same kind of pattern, and the swirl really does that, kind of bring coherence to the water. So it's the same structure. The second thing is what you have in the water, because every molecule that you put inside, let's say a grain of salt, chloride, chlorine, or whatever, and any type of molecule that you have, the water molecules start to arrange itself around that molecule in a certain way, and these arrangements start from the middle, and then they grow bigger and bigger, like a huge mandala in a way. But these different type of structure influence ours. It's like information. Even if you take the molecule out, you still have the structure around it in a way, unless you break it again. So that's why we recommend cleaning the water before and then swirling it. So you take all the hazardous and the toxins out, and then you swirl them again. Then you kind of break that information, okay? Because
break the memory, right? Like
make them
rewire the memory, it seems.
you put the right minerals in, the minerals that our body needs, but it's also the minerals that our body needs. Again, it's not only the substance itself, it's also the structure, because you can have different types of salt or different types of magnesium or different types of zinc or iodine. If we take it, and we are very, very particular in these minerals that we add in, so they have the crystalline structure that originally have been in nature. So we keep that structure when we add it to the water and then swirl them together.
Okay, I'm going to ask you more questions about the minerals in a moment, but I want to show some pictures for people since we can. So this is what the Mayu Swirl looks like. There is a base, and it connects, you can plug it in, and it actually has a battery in it. In fact, I have it right beside me, and it's charged up, so it's still swirling the water. It's really nice during parties. You can actually put the whole thing on the table. You don't have to have it connected to the wall, and then, which is again brilliant design, and then we have this beautiful glass carafe. Tell us about why you chose glass and why you chose this shape.
So glass is one of the best materials to touch water, okay? Because glass is made out of sand, silica, and even in a glass water, the water grabs a bit of that glass into the water. So if it's plastic, then you harm your body. But if it's glass, you're actually bringing good stuff into the water, which is silica, which natural spring almost always have a small amount of silica in the water. So this is borosilica. That's the type of glass. It's a lab grade glass, and shape is made and so that there is no corner that the water can be stuck in. Because even if it's a small corner, then you have microorganisms grow there. And remember, we talked about the different layers. So we talked about the physical layer, the chemical layer, and now like the biological layer means if water are standing still, or if in a tank there is a place where water can be stuck and stand still, microorganisms do flourish there because they grow in colonies. And wherever there is water, you're going to have life for the good and the bad. But when you have a moving water, there is shearing forces inside the vortex, and they kind of cut the colonies, and so they cannot flourish. And so that's why you look in nature, if you have a pond or somewhere that water is standing, you're going to have a lot of microorganism and
algae
and everything. But if you have a river flowing, then the water will stay clear and clean all the way, even a few months from the mountain to the sea.
That's amazing. Tell us about this study.
So here we can see now oxygen is kind of a very vital compound inside the water. We can see it easily when we look at a fish tank or in wine, like you want to aerate your wine before you drink it, want to bring back the oxygen, or if you have a fish tank and you don't have these bubbles, the fish gonna belly up. So in our drinking water, it really varies the amount of dissolved oxygen that we have inside. And here we can see how fast the dissolved oxygen goes to the full saturation level when you swirl it. So the first one that we are looking at here is the point of use cooler, which it's very similar to what most people have in their fridge. You know, that when you go to your fridge and take water from that filter that is out.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
inside that fridge, you have a tank with water sitting in it,
Ah.
waiting for you to come and drink it. And when the water is sitting, the oxygen level goes slowly down. So here, and most of these point of views, you have around 25% oxygen, 100% is fully saturated. Okay, and then in less than 10 minutes, when you swirl, you get to fully saturation. This is
less than 10 minutes.
This is 6,000 times faster than if you just let the water stand.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. So you took the point of use cooler, the fridge water, the reverse osmosis water, and the bottled water, and you swirled it in less than 10 minutes. It goes to almost full saturation.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That is super, super cool. And I love what you explained about how when the carbon dioxide, because it's volatile, it goes out and it actually raises the pH of the water, which I didn't figure out why that happened. So thank you for explaining that. The increased alkalinity, because we do know that that is super helpful for our health to drink more alkaline type water. So here we have the craft and
Yeah.
the base, right? People, when they purchase it, you can get it from mayuwater.com and use my code Dr. Karen for $15 off. So DRKAREN, all in capitals. That's the code. Depending on when you're watching this recording, you may or may not have different sales going on. So there is a link straight from my website as well. Did you want to say anything about how you designed this base and the little doohickey impeller thing in here that you can't see?
Yeah, the base is made out of pure porcelain, and the colorant are also natural colorant. So it's really kind of like a stone in a way. Each one of them is handmade. So the pattern is, there's no two patterns similar. It's really kind of swirling. And inside that base, you have a weight sensor. So the minute you put the carafe on the base, it senses the amount of water you have inside and calibrates the speed of the vortex exactly to that amount, so you don't have a too strong or too weak vortex.
Ah, wow, that's fancy. I didn't know how you did that. That's very cool. Now, in the old days, I got it when, the first iteration, the little doohickey at the bottom that spun, you couldn't take out. So it was a little hard to wash. But now you have one that's magnetic. So tell us about that technology, how that works.
So, yeah, I mean, we really try to bring the best water that we can and also make it a very pleasant and kind of uplifting experience, because we think that people should appreciate water more. Yeah, like we appreciate, good whiskey or good wine, and there are these vessels in order to appreciate them more. So we wanted to build that vessel for water. Now the impeller, this is the thing that makes the vortex. It has a magnet inside, and it actually is an inspiration from an ancient Egyptian. It's called the disc of Sabu, something that was found in the pyramids around 4,500 years ago. Which is amazing by itself if someone wants to research and see it. And we tried, I don't know if hundreds, but there are more than 100 different types of impellers.
Wow.
And looked very deeply on the vortex that they are doing. at the vortex itself, the quality of water, but also how it looks. So this one is a very kind of low profile, if you see it, and that's why you don't see it when you look at the carafe. So it's like a magic, but still does a very powerful vortex, which surprised us because it's really inspired by the Egyptian design that was so
That's
long ago.
amazing.
And it's in a very, very low profile, it can make that stronger vortex, and a 3-helix vortex, which is what we're looking for.
Ah, that is so cool. And I love how easily it slips out and I can wash it, and oh, so great. Here is a picture of the before and after. Do you want us to explain what this is?
Yeah. So some people know the work of Masaru
Masaru
Emoto.
Emoto? Yeah.
So this is his son. Keeps on his journey and his finding. And he have a center in Japan where you can send him water, and he sends back the crystal image of it. So in a way, to see the structure of water, you have many different ways to kind of try to visualize it. One of them is just to let the water freeze and see how the water crystallizes by itself, like a snowflake, and then take a very detailed image of that. So here we can see tap water coming from Japan before swirling them and adding minerals, and after. So this is the same water after 10 minutes of swirling, and you can see how dramatic the difference is, the before and after, and you can decide which water you want to treat your body.
Yes, I think I'm going to drink snowflake water. Thank you very much. And what's this picture about on the science page, mayuwater.com?
So then we want to see how that influences our health. Okay, because we can the water are better, or let's say more structured and coherent, but how does it influence our own health? Now, there's not a lot of literature about it, and we would like to do more experiments in order to kind of really prove it. But this is a very simple one where you just take like a image through a microscope of your blood cells before and after drinking structured water.
Mm.
Here you can see that blood cells before they kind of really clamped into each other and kind of dehydrated. When a blood cell doesn't have enough water, it's more flat and kind of shrink. And
Right. Yeah. They're kind of
then you can
sickly, and they call this rouleau formation,
yeah.
where it looks like a stack of coins, and that is less healthy than if they are separated, which is what we see here.
Exactly. And this is really after a few minutes after drinking structured water, which is pretty amazing how fast it influenced the body. And when you do that, because we were designed, or let's say back in the days, we used to drink only structured water. Yeah, you go to the river, drink structured water from there. And so that's how our internal body is also designed. And we have these small aquaporings in every cell. There is different ways of water to hydrate the cell. One of them is through the membrane of the cell, but the other one is like the fast way is through these small channels that are called aquaporing. These channels, by chance or not, are also like a vortex. Okay, they are kind
of course it is.
inside, and they can bring only one molecule at a time of water, one molecule after another, but only of water. So it's a pretty amazing kind of structure that you have in every cell, small doors only for water, and not any other substance can go in. And when the water is structured, it can go much faster inside that aquaporing. So in a way, you can drink 8 cups a day, but the question is not how much you're hydrating yourself, but how much you're hydrating your cells.
Right.
They are the ones who need the water. And if the water is structured and has the right amount of minerals inside, then it's easy for the cell to drink them, to get hydrated from them. If the water are not structured or have different, like over too much minerals or minerals that are not easy to the cell to get in, then even if you drank a lot of water, you didn't really hydrate your cells right, and they're just gonna go out similar to how you came in.
Yes. Well, I had a patient one time in the acupuncture office who had very swollen legs, and their doctor told them that they were limited to a liter of water a day. And this poor man was so thirsty beyond, like, he was clearly dehydrated. His cells were dehydrated, but because he had fluid in the, extracellular space, and had these swollen legs, he couldn't drink it. At the time, Mayu had not been invented. This is many years ago. But we gave him a mineral supplement called Dr. Willard's water, to try to make the water clusters smaller, at least, right? So they'll go inside the cells. Within a week, the swelling had gone down massively, and he was drinking as much water as he wanted.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's because I think the biggest issue with water is that we call it in one word. Okay, you have water, but there's so many different types of water. There's so many different
Yes.
qualities of water. And if you don't taste it and you don't feel how it comes into your body, then you really don't know if this water is good for you or not. But again, from the beginning of our conversation, as I saw with children, they really know. And we have the same ability to just really taste the water that we're drinking and feel if it does us good or not. And this is why I think that some people, or even many people in the US, say they don't like water.
Yep.
And the fact is that it's not that they don't like water, it's that the water that they drink is not good for them or not tasty for them because they're not drinking good water. If they have a chance to drink very good water, they would love it because it's life.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, one of the things that people have said, if they're in the know, they said, hey, I have a reverse osmosis machine. Supposedly that's the best to get rid of the chemicals, at least the physical part, right? And we talked about, vibrationally, that the swirl can be helpful. But it's not necessarily healthy because it stripped away the natural minerals that would be in natural water. So you talked a little bit about the minerals. You have a couple of things here. You have the electrolyte drops. Can you tell us more about these products here and how they can help with the water?
Yeah. So I used to climb mountains, and people that climb high mountains, they know that even though that you have snow and ice, you cannot just take that ice and melt it and drink it because it has no minerals. So when you climb mountains, you always take salt with you to add to the ice. And also in big ships, they desalinate seawater, but they know that you cannot drink that desalinated water without adding minerals to it, because then the cruise ships will eventually be sick. But
Their water doesn't taste that great.
yeah, that doesn't taste great, but I'm talking really kind of the basic of health. That knowledge didn't pass to household or commodity, because many people are drinking RO water or desalinated water in municipalities without adding the minerals. And this is really something that is not healthy on the long term. The paradigm was, okay, I won't drink the minerals that I need from water, but I'll eat another broccoli or get the minerals
Right.
elsewhere. And more and more research have kind of really pinpoint that question. Is it vital to get the minerals from water, or can you supplement it from a different source? Specifically in Israel, they did a huge experiment on that because almost 90% of the water that we're drinking nowadays is desalinated. So suddenly you can really measure it. And they found out without no doubt that you have to have the minerals in the water. It's not enough to supplement these minerals from elsewhere. It's good to have balanced food, but you also have to have balanced water.
That's
So
fascinating.
yeah, and so we did two different type of product. One is for every day, the essential. We started it back when the COVID hit. So it's packed with the magnesium, which is very, very good for your immune system. And everybody that desalinate the water or have reverse osmosis or thermal distillation or drink desalinated water from the municipality really, really, really needs to add minerals to the water. And I think this is the best product out there because it's 100% natural. There is no additives to it, no preservatives, really pure minerals from around the world, the best minerals that we can find.
Is
And then
that what I'm showing on the screen, Ze'ev?
yeah, we have the essential. This is the essential, the one that I talked about now.
Okay.
And then we did electrolyte because we saw a lot of people that are doing extensive sport and they need a lot of electrolytes because every time you sweat water and some salts out. You need to replenish your body with these amounts of salt. But as we did the experiment and saw more and more what type of minerals can you add to water, we saw the difference between the synthetic minerals and the natural minerals. Most of electrolyte water, they just add synthetic minerals to it. And they have a very unpleasant taste. So they add, they call it like, they covering the taste with other artificial tastes. So you have sugar, blueberries or whatever, so you won't taste the
grossness.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to make electrolyte water for athletes that taste water, that you don't have to add any other flavor to cover the taste of the minerals. Because when you do that, you have water that are very rich with electrolytes, but with no preservative and with no other artificial taste. But you can do ultra marathons and whatever sport you like to do and have these water replenishing.
Okay, well, so if somebody fills in their Mayu Swirl, then how much of these minerals should they be taking?
So
like
if
per...
Yeah, for the essential, it's 12 drops per liter, or let's say one full pipette for a carafe.
Aha. Okay. Yeah, it's so funny because this is one I haven't bought yet. My husband is like, don't put anything in my water. Of course, we're not doing reverse osmosis, but so we probably do have minerals in our water and it tastes very, very good. But I suppose if I did have a reverse osmosis water, right, then I would probably want this, and then it would make it taste good. Like it wouldn't be all crazy, tasty, like synthetically tasting.
You have well water, so the water kind of, when the water comes from the rain, it's almost pure there. Okay, it's like almost like our water. It's completely clean because the water evaporates from the ground. Everything that is not water stay down, all the minerals, all the electrolyte, all the toxins, and then you have in the air pure droplets. And then when the raindrop falls, it starts to grab nutrient and minerals and sometimes toxin because nowadays the air is polluted, so it grabs CO2 and then but until it comes to the well, it went through the long distance and underneath the soil, it grabbed a lot of minerals. So I'm sure your water is rich with minerals. And it's even more amazing because that's the dance of pH in water. It grabs minerals, the pH rises, so it's less toxic, so it can grab less minerals. And then the minerals crystallize inside the water. When the pH rises, the mineral kind of crystallize and fall down. So then the pH falls, so it can grab again more minerals. And that's the way the water always balances itself. So when you drink natural water, in a way, they're already balanced. And this connects to what you said before, that we should drink more alkaline water. And I want to fix that and say we should drink balanced water. Because it's not, if it's the more alkaline it is, the better it is to our body. in a way.
Okay.
At
Yeah,
least
so it's not like a 1-to-1 kind of ratio, like the more alkaline, the better for you, more alkaline, the better for you. It's not like that.
yeah, again, at least that's what we see from nature. In nature,
Mm,
the best, like most prestige springs are not extremely alkaline. They're balanced. And in water, if they come to alkaline, they balance themselves in a way. So I think like by learning from that, we want to have balanced water. And another explanation for that is when we drink water, it goes into our digesting system. The digesting system is very, very toxin. Okay, the pH is almost 5 or even less
right.
than that. So if you put very alkaline water, the digestive system needs to work harder
Oh, right. Yes.
to that equilibrium it needs in order to function. So
Yeah.
you want to
Forgot
drink.
about that. Yeah, because you need the acid to digest your food, right? And also to kill parasites and all that kind of stuff. If you drink alkaline water, like really alkaline water all the time, you may neutralize your stomach acid. That's not what you want.
No, you want to really kind of understand how nature acts,
Mm.
help it do its thing in the best way.
Okay, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's very cool. Now, I notice on mayuwater.com, everybody, that's the website to go to. Remember my code, Dr. Karen, capital DRKAREN, for $15 off the Mayu Swirl and the minerals. I noticed on the website, Ze'ev, that you have some machines. Now, like I'm part of a company where they're building a really, really cool water machine. We don't have it yet. It's very high end. It actually increases light in the body, um, and has its own filtering system, that kind of thing, but we don't have it yet, and it's not won't be available for multiple countries for quite some years. So tell us what you have on your site.
So a lot of people kind of ask us, so which water should we drink?
Mm,
And we always recommend, because in different places and in different time, the water quality in the tap changes. So the best way to make sure that you're drinking good water, if you don't have your own well or you're not living next to a spring, is purify them at the point of use. That's the only way
okay.
that you really know what you're going to have in the water. So these are simple RO system that are very effective. You don't need an installation. You just, like a coffee machine, you put it on the countertop, you fill it with water on the back, and then
Okay.
it filters around 95% of all the toxin, all the microelements, um, paths, everything that you can find in water. This is step one. If I look at nature, this is what happens when water evaporates to the clouds, what I said before, then it's kind of a restart. You have pure water. Now, after we have that pure water that we can trust in a way, we're starting to rebuild them and make them healthy, tasty water that the body can hydrate from, which is restructuring it, kind of organizing the molecule in the right way, adding oxygen from the atmosphere. This is the vortex. And then
Hmm.
adding the minerals back in
Okay.
that you need. And in that way, you kind of finalize the water cycle. In nature, again, the water goes from the clouds, you got the restart. Then when it's on the ground, it grabs the minerals. And then it restructure itself as it flows down the river and grab more oxygen in that rapidness.
And how is this different from other RO systems aside from it being on the countertop? um I mean, it's very very reasonably priced, let me say.
Yeah, so
So
we wanted to make it as widely available and easy to use.
okay.
So these are I think for the RO system, there's a lot of marketing around it, but the membrane itself is usually made in two different factories around the world, only two. So,
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
so
okay. So well, what you know, I'm gonna be honest. When I go to the city, when I go to Canada, visit my mom, um, don't like their city water. So I'm, hoisting my, Mayu Swirl in its original box and trying not to get the glass carafe broken and the whole bit. And as you know, I told you earlier that I had several bases and I broke one because I was, I turned around and it went and crashing to the ground. So when we go there, my husband refuses to drink the water from the tap. Totally get it, right? He's like the 5-year-old, right?
Yeah, no, it's
So
good.
yeah, so we end up buying not the best. Like we end up buying bottled water that he likes the taste of. But I'm thinking, over weeks and months and months and months, that's going to add up to ching. Like it would make more sense to buy the RO machine that you have, just leave it at my mother's place, right? And just bring the minerals or leave the minerals there and just filter the water. Like I think before the barrier was, I'm gonna ask her if I have to do construction on her house, if I can attach this or that, and she's gonna say no. I'm just gonna tell you, she's gonna say no. You can't touch it. Like I don't want you to do this weird stuff that you like to do. But this way, I can just plug it in, right?
Exactly. In
All
that
right.
way, because I've been traveling a lot, even in to do this venture, and in this way, anywhere I go, I don't need to buy any bottled water because this is something I don't do, and I have the same quality. It doesn't matter where I am around the world. If the water is undrinkable, we make our own water. And the fun thing is, first, everybody drinks water, so everybody are interested in it and see like the process and the reaction are amazing because again, it's something that is so common. We're used to drink water, and suddenly we see that thing that we drew all our life in a new, different way. Um, and yeah, and then I used to fill people's plastic bottle, with a bottle we just made from the tap. Because in a way, and this is also interesting. During when we did the mineral blend, the way we did it is we went to 40 different springs around the world, like the best high quality springs, and kind of took water directly from that, send it to the lab, and get the exact mineral composition. That one. Then tasted, try to do different types of blend to inspired by these terroirs, like the ground that is underneath that spring that brings the minerals to that special spring. And so if you do that process at home, clean the water completely, restructure it and add the minerals, you can get to the exact same product that you can have in bottled water, which is clean water with the minerals without the plastic. And without
the plastic and have it structured because there's no guarantee that it's structured in the plastic at all, right? Who knows where it's been?
Exactly. And usually sometimes the water in plastic bottles can sit more than a year since the time they were coming out of the spring until you drink it, sitting in that plastic bottle, and the quality is completely changed during that year. So
man.
but the fact that you have water at your tap and you can clean it nowadays very easily, no installation is needed. It's a really plug and play, and you can have endless source of really good, tasty water with
Okay.
yeah,
So you're gonna have to invent for me something that for the Mayu Swirl, something that is really portable. Because it takes up a lot of room in my suitcase right now. And it's okay when I'm driving, right? I can bring as many suitcases as I want. But when I'm flying, it's a little bit more challenging. So do you have any thoughts down the road of any mini portable, like handheld something or other that I can
yeah.
sneak?
Yes. This is one of the requests that we get a lot from our customers, and we have it in our development kind of timeline.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully soon.
Okay, yes, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Well, I just want to make sure that everybody knows. We'll put the link in the show notes, but it's mayuwater.com. You can look at the science, a lot of great articles on there. And just to review, if you have city water, right, and you want an inexpensive way to clean the water, check out the reverse osmosis machine and then the Mayu Swirl, and then add those minerals in that are tested to be emulating nature, because it's all about balance, not extremes, natural, not synthetic. And yeah, some really, really great stuff. I think you're doing amazing, Ze'ev, and your company. Thank you so, so much for your, I know you're a super busy man, so very, very appreciative that you spent your time with us today.
Thank you, Karen. It's been so lovely to be here. And to all the audience, I want to say, just last thing, drink water. That's the healthiest thing that you can do to yourself. Even doesn't matter which water. At the end of the day, you need to drink water. And the simple thing that you can do, as you said, water does resonate with us. So appreciate it before you drink it. Like, look at it a bit, appreciate, and then drink it, because this is something that anybody can do anywhere. And maybe they can tell you, like in your blog post, how they felt before and after, because it's a very easy experiment, and I think it's powerful and impactful as well.
Yes, and I think, well, we will soon learn more and more about the memory of water and the dimensional aspects of water as we go down this rabbit hole further and further. I'm so glad that you're bridging that science and spirituality, actually, together in what you do. And for our audience, remember that I do have the coupon code Dr. Karen, 𝗛𝗚𝗟𝗡𝗟, for $15 off the Mayu Swirl. We love it. We have it on pretty much all day, all night long. And I bought, I didn't tell you guys this, but I bought one for each of my staff members for Christmas. Again, thank you so much, Ze'ev. It was wonderful speaking with you.
Perfect. Thank
All
you.
right. Until next time, everyone, thank you so much for joining Light Warrior Radio. Much love. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If it resonated with you, would love for you to hit subscribe and the like button, and perhaps share it with someone who's like-minded who would appreciate it. And in the meantime, would love to connect with you in my light medicine community. It's absolutely free to join, and it's for sensitive souls who wish to receive love and support, and also to share who they really are. It's a safe space for each of us to really shine. So I'll put the link below, as well as this week's offerings and freebies, and we will see you there.